What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified, three-belt WBA, WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top two, if not number one, definitely top five pound for pound best fighters in the world, and Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. has 28 wins, no losses, no draw. 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. He's heading into the biggest fight of his career, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, as he's fighting for the undisputed welterweight undefeated showdown, the massive mega showdown between himself and undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number one best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford is 39 wins, no loss and no draw, 30 wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. They will fight July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. With that said, I personally think this is the biggest fight in 40 years, okay? There has been bigger commercial-wise fights. There has been bigger anticipated fights. But I personally think this is the biggest fight we had in 40 years as far as competitive goes, as far as the product inside the square circle, not just the product outside the square circle. And that's since September 16th, 1981, as we had a mega undisputed welterweight showdown between two legends, legend being Sugar Ray Leonard and the other legend being Thomas the Hitman Hearns. That was September 16th, 1981. That was for undisputed. It was only two belts. It was the WBA and the WBC titles. With that said, there was another massive mega fight that took place April 15th, 1985. And that was between Thomas the Hitman Hearns also and Marvelous Marvin Hagler, okay? That was the four king era. You had Marvin Hagler, you had Tommy Hearns, you had Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, and you also had the likes of Aaron Pryor, and you had also Benitez, okay? Wilfred Benitez. So you also had Wilfred Benitez. And I always say it should be the five king era because Wilfred Benitez was just as good as the rest. He gave Sugar Ray Leonard a tough time. He did lose to Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler, but he beat and dominated Roberto Duran. And when you look back, Roberto Duran is actually 1-4 against those four kings. Roberto Duran, he won the first fight against Sugar Ray Leonard, but Sugar Ray Leonard, he avenged that loss in the worst way for Duran's side possible. He made Roberto Duran quit. Okay, Marvin Hagler knocked him out, outboxed him, and Tommy Hearns brutally knocked him out, and Wilfred Benitez badly outboxed Roberto Duran. Nonetheless, it's considered a four-king era. Now, with that said, there was comparisons to who they think this Errol Spence-Terrence Crawford fight would be compared to. Errol Spence, he likens it to the biggest fight in 40 years since Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns. But Errol Spence, when listening to well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer and now colorful boxing analyst and pundit Teddy Atlas, who recently stated and made in my opinion, an asinine comparison. He compared a UFC fight to Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, a boxing match between two legends. And Errol Spence didn't take too kind to that, and he said that was silly of Teddy Atlas to make that comparison. And then a fan says, you don't like the comparison to Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler. And he said, nobody should be compared to Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler, not even my fight with Terrence Crawford, right? So he said that legendary fight, April 15th, 1985, that only went 3 rounds and saw Marvin Hagler get a knockout victory over Tommy Hearns. It was the most action-packed 3 rounds in boxing history, arguably in combat sports history, but definitely in boxing history, as Tommy Hearns came out letting them fly. Marvin Hagler came out letting them fly. Marvin Hagler suffered a gash over his forehead from Tommy Hearns. It was epic, absolutely epic showdown. And Tommy Hearns ended up getting knocked out More so, Tommy Hearns, when you watch the fight, he ran out of gas immediately, okay? Because of the pressure, because of the pace of the fight, he got fatigued, and Marvin Hagler, was stalking him down at that point and caught him, clipped him, and knocked him out, okay? So with that said, Errol Spence, he states that nobody should be compared to Tommy Hearns versus Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I have to say this, and I understand and respect where Errol Spence is coming from, giving these two legends in that legendary fight. It's just due and it's credit, giving them their roses while they could smell them. Well, at least the late, great legendary Marvin Hagler is not with us anymore, but Tommy Hearns is. But when you look at it, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they definitely have all the billing, all the makeup to repeat what happened with Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler. They both have what it takes to repeat that fight. If there's any two fighters that can duplicate what Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler did that night of April 15, 1985, it would be Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They both have ability. They both come forward. Neither one of them like to back down. They both have an aggressive style. They both have a chip on their shoulder. They both have the inner dog in them. And they both have hearts the size of Texas. Although we know Terrence Crawford's heart is the size of Omaha, Nebraska. Errol Spence's heart is the size of Texas, okay? And so with that said, seeing as though Texas is one of the biggest states, if not the biggest state, that's why I compare both of their hearts to Texas, because they both don't lack heart and they both can come forward. Terrence Crawford has only went the distance 3 times since becoming a world champion in 2014. So almost 10 years, he's only went the distance 3 times. And one of those times was against Victor Postal, in which he knocked Victor Postal down twice in that fight. Now you look at Errol Spence, he's breaking ribs, noses, and orbital bones en route to becoming a unified world champion. He broke Kell Brook's orbital bone and eye. He broke Yordenis Ugas' ribs, nose, and orbital bone. He was on the verge of breaking Danny Garcia's orbital bone, and that wasn't even a title fight. That was a title defense. So Errol Spence is known as the eye collector, the bone crusher, as he called himself, the big fish, the biggest fish in strap season, right? So with that said, they both have what it takes to duplicate. If there's anybody in history that can duplicate what that was, it would be Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. The both mindsets are equal to that of Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler. Their skill set, talent, and just aggressive nature can duplicate that of Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler. But like I said, I understand where Errol Spence is coming from. He wants to give these two legends and these two icons within the sport of boxing their credit, and he don't want it taken away, and that's respectable. I understand that 1,000%. But like I said, I think that this is the biggest fight in boxing in 40 years. And I can't say this enough. Now, we did have the fight, obviously, that broke every record, shattered every record known to boxing man. And that's when Floyd Mayweather took on Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Okay, and that did 4.6 million pay-per-view buys, over $500 million gross in revenue, because that was so anticipated over a 5-year span. And Manny Pacquiao, well, he was built as the man that finally dethroned Floyd Mayweather. And so everybody was interested. Like Floyd Mayweather said, whether you liked him, whether you loved him, disdain for him, you was going to pay to watch him. Whether you was paying to watch him lose or pay to watch him win, you was going to pay. And so once Manny Pacquiao became the ultimate villain that could dethrone Floyd Mayweather and his undefeated record, well, that fight in itself just got a lot of momentum, grew a lot of legs, and a lot of people drew interest because they thought that finally we found somebody equal in skill set, talent, athletic ability that can actually dethrone Floyd Mayweather. And that was not the case. OK, Manny Pacquiao had already been outboxed by Eric Morales. He had been knocked out twice and then knocked out a third time by Juan Manuel Marquez brutally. The blueprint was there to beat Manny Pacquiao. And when you have the ultimate boxer, the ultimate calculator in Floyd Mayweather, well, you already knew that he had what it takes to knock out Manny Pacquiao or to just outbox Manny Pacquiao. And that's what happened. He grossly outboxed him. So I think that this is the biggest fight. Now, you had Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns. You had Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. But as far as undefeated pound for pound top 5 fighters in the world, I think this is the biggest fight for Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Okay. Now, obviously, we still have to see the fight unfold July 29th, but nobody can make a definitive answer and give you a definitive reason as to who they think is going to win. You have a lot of fanism, a lot of people that are fans of a specific fighter, they'll go with said fighter. But other than that, a true boxing fan and a true boxing pundit and analyst really don't know who's going to win this fight, period. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.